In this video, we're going to go over what is EEAT, or commonly known as EAT. So in this video, I decided to make some pointers on a slide so it's a little bit easier to understand rather than just seeing a talking video of me just talking to you. I also didn't want to spend the time editing and throwing all of these terms across my stream, my screen on the video to make it more fun and exciting. So I wanted to get this out there. I don't want to wait for editing. I just want to be able to video this and get it out to you. So we're going to cover EEAT today, which is what Google considers a primary Google algorithm update. They consistently make it more and more important to follow their EAT principles. Now, how this all first started was when Google decided that there were certain sites that needed to be in what they called the YMYL space. And that means your money, your life, YMYL. At first, it was medical websites, things about what to do when you have a heart attack, what to do when you have diabetes, things like that. Originally, it started with that. That's why you will see a lot of times when you type a question into Google regarding a medical issue, you're going to have sites like WebMD, and different hospital sites will come up, Cleveland Clinic, those kind of sites will come up. Whereas a long time ago, anyone's blog could come up for those things. And a lot of these blogs had incorrect information on them. And Google does not want a user to go to a website and get hurt either physically through their health, following the wrong advice, or going to follow the wrong advice for their money. So after they put the doctors into that space, they also started putting investors. So stockbrokers, mortgage brokers, people like that started to go into that YMYL space. Making money at home, any kind of thing like that, internet marketing, all of those types of things went into the YMYL space. And the more sites that go into the YMYL space, those are really hard to rank for. So what I always recommend for someone who wants to make money on a blog, to pick a topic that is not going to be in the YMYL space. The problem with that is a lot of those are saturated niches. Like if you go into a recipe blog, for instance, food blogs are really, really saturated, very difficult. There's still room there. You can still find a way in. There's still uncovered niches. But overall, those don't particularly go into the YMYL space. More and more, Google's been pushing people different topics into the YMYL space. Now realtors are in the YMYL space. And now even if you have a pet blog or any kind of thing to do with your pets, that is now in the YMYL space because people are attached to their pets and they're spending money on their pets, and Google doesn't want their pets to die by taking the wrong advice, and they don't want people spending their money and wasting their money, spending it and investing it in the wrong things. So you can pretty much bet that unless it's a real hobby site, most sites are going to be in the YMYL space. So even if you're not thrown into that space, you're still going to need to follow EAT because you never know when Google is going to throw you into the YMYL space. And they might just one day say they want all sites to be covered by, YMYL rules. So and it used to be just EAT. So this is in their new Google update that they did in the end of 2022, I believe. I think it was the end of 2022, last quarter or something. They did a big Google update then, and another one this spring. So it used to be just EAT, which is expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Then they added this next E to it. So they added another E, which stands for experience. So what you have to cover on your website and what you have to prove to Google is that you have experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. In this video, we're just going to cover how to develop EAT on your website. This video in particular is not going to include site activities that you need to be doing off of your website. So there's a lot of things you need to do off of your website that Google can see. For instance, having social media accounts. Google expects you to have a Facebook account. Google expects you to have a LinkedIn account if you're a business. So they expect certain things, and they follow those links to see if they're on your website. They're going to follow to see if you have And these are not people that are following you. These are robots, okay? We call them bots. So they are going to be crawling your website. So when I say that you have to prove these things, the next logical question is, how do you prove that to a machine that's based on algorithms? So I'm going to go over some of the things that I know from experience and from blogging since 2006 and developing this for many clients. So I own a virtual assistant company. It's one of the businesses I have. I have about 7 streams of income, and one of those companies that I own is a virtual assistant company. And so we work with a lot of clients and we develop their EAT strategies. We develop their websites and we do their blogging for them. We do all of these social media for them. So we have a lot of experience over the years. I started that company in 2016. So we already have quite a few years of experience of knowing what works and what doesn't work. Oh, and it's not letting me move my slide. Well, that's weird. Let me see if it lets me do it now. Nope. Oops, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to probably escape from my view. Boo. I'm going to have to do it this way. I'm sorry. So the first one we're going to talk about is experience. So how do you show and share your experience? How do you prove to a Googlebot that you have experience? Well, one of the ways is by having a YouTube channel and putting YouTube videos on that YouTube channel, embedding them in your website. So that's one way you could do it, because Google owns YouTube. And the YouTube engine and the YouTube engine, obviously, they somehow speak to each other. Don't ask me how. So they follow links, and that's how they do it. They follow the links back and forth. And when they see that you're promoting your business or your niche on YouTube, now you don't have to do it to rank on YouTube. You don't have to do that part. So it's very different. There's a very different methodology and best practices if you want to have a YouTube channel and rank and monetize a channel. Quite a different set of rules and best practices if you just want to have your website ranking on Google. It's different ways that you're going to use YouTube. So in this situation, I'm not teaching you how to rank on YouTube. I'm teaching you how to get your website to be known by Google as that you are a human, that you own the website. You're not a robot. You're not a spam bot, and you're not a hacker. And you have this experience and you share it on YouTube, and then you embed those videos on your website, which shows the Google bots that you have videos on this topic. Of course, you need to title them with the topic. That's one way you can establish experience. We're going to go through the different website pages that you need to have and what needs to be on there to establish the expertise, authoritativeness, and the trustworthiness. But in the experience section, this is one that you do have to do things off of your website, like on YouTube, for the bots to really recognize that you have experience. The other way that you would show your experience is in your blog on your website is you're going to write articles about your topic that have the correct keywords and everything like that. We're going to cover that in our blog slide. But one of the things that you're going to do in the experience is you're going to explain your experience. You're going to talk about your experience, write about your experience, okay? Show images of your experience. So if you have a pet site, let's say a dog site, and you are a veterinarian, then you're going to have pictures of yourself in your veterinarian uniform, and you're going to alt tag those. And you're going to use correct SEO so that Google knows that that is a picture of a veterinarian, okay? If you have a real estate website, you are going to establish your experience by showing your sold listings and really marking those, understanding how to do your markup on those images, putting all your sold listings, photos of your sold listings, sold your active listings, people that you're buying with, interviews, all of these kind of things are going to show your experience. Okay, so we're talking about experience that you can almost touch, like it's not just the written form, but actually tactical. Okay, so think about that. So the next one is expertise. And you need to prove that you have expertise in your niche and your topic. Now, remember, we're doing 2 case studies. So stay on this video and make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and set your notifications. Because if you do those three things, number one, YouTube will show this video to more people, which is important because we want people to blog correctly and to build good websites and to be successful. But also it's going to alert you whenever I have a new video so you don't miss this series. So what we are covering is a series of steps that you need to do to build your website, to get traffic to your website, and to rank on Google organic search for your keywords. So we'll start it from the beginning. In the description and in my end screen here, you will see a video to choosing your domain name, which is an important thing. I need you to watch that video. I have specific advice for you in that video. I'm also have another video about why it's important for you to answer the question, why would Google pay attention to your website? Very insightful video that I recorded for you. And then we're going to go into, we also did SEO Press already. So these are all topics and they're all going to be listed on my description. And as each video is done, we'll list the previous video into that description. So you'll have the whole list of the series, or you can just, of course, scroll my channel as well. But this way you can just link to each one. I did, on purpose, decided to not make a super long video on how to start a website from scratch, from A to Z. I decided I wanted to do it in chunks because different people like you are at different levels. So you could already have a website and now you're having a problem ranking and you discovered that you're failing in the EAT department. So now you need this video, right? But you have the correct domain and those kind of things. The other thing is that you may just be brand new and you don't even know where to start. So that's why you need to start. But even if you are an established blogger and everything, there's a lot of value in even the beginner videos that I've been doing because there's probably some techniques in there you didn't know about. So expertise and I was just establishing my expertise just now. So something like that, like a video, like what I just said in the last minute or so, establishes my expertise. So you want to establish expertise in your niche and on your topic. And we're going to do it in certain ways on the different pages. And we're going to go through those in just a few minutes. And so you have to establish expertise. I'll show you how to do that. The next one is authoritativeness. Are you an authority in this niche? So if you are and the other case study that we're doing is the anti-aging skincare line. So our client, Donna, she is developing this, she developed an anti-aging skincare line that really, really works well. And she has authority in this niche because she has people who have tried it and loved it and raved about it. And she's used it on her own skin and saw the before and after results. So she's establishing authority in this niche. So that's one of the things. So we're doing case study on e-commerce, which is going to be a skincare line. And we're doing a case study on real estate. So if you're a real estate agent or mortgage broker or anything like that, stager, you're going to want to watch the case studies that we're going to go along and do on all of those topics. So stay tuned, right? Trustworthiness. Are you a trusted authority? So there's a lot of ways to establish trust, and the main way is through reviews and testimonials. So we're going to go through all of these. So let's talk about your homepage. On your homepage, you need to have the current copyright year. Sounds weird, right? But that's not just good for SEO, but it's good for the bots. They crawl that. And there's a specific way to do that at the bottom of your website. And we'll cover that when we install a theme and go through the different things that we need to put in the different places. But for now, just suffice it if you don't know how to do it. Just know that you've got to keep that current copyright year down in your footer. If you put it in your footer, that should go across every single page on your website. And then up in your menu or on the side menu, however you're doing your menu, you need to have in there, Google requires for EAT, that you have an about page, a contact page, testimonial page, disclaimers, disclosures, and a before and after of some type to show your experience. You need an embedded Google map of your location on your homepage. At the bottom is okay. You need your logo on there, your footer, and your logo needs, now a lot of times when people put these things on their website, they're just taking a weird file name like ABC 10467889XXY or something as their logo, right? And they're just uploading that right into their WordPress library. That's not how you do it. You must change the name of that file while it's on your hard drive in your computer. Or if you're using a excuse me, if you're using a online tool to make your images smaller, then you could also change the file name right there, because the media library in Google has not seen the image yet. You need to have a footer on every page on your website, and you need to have a local phone number. Google requires, that's one of their things that we have seen that they look for, is they don't like 800 numbers, 877, 888, any of those kind of numbers are no good anymore. They're no longer the ones that we should use. And they want it to be a local area code. So if you're moving to an area, so for instance, I moved from Florida to Utah, but I kept my Florida 561 phone number. People have known that for so many years, for 30 years or something, so I'm not going to change it. But what I do is I just buy a phone number, a local phone number from Twilio or any of these services. I have a CRM that I buy it from. So I just buy that number, and so I have that exact, if I don't want to use my, if I need to have to match the area code. And then you need your social media links, because that is a signal to Google that you are human, that you have all these social media accounts, and they trust that. Your about page. This is the most important page for EAT on your website. But I bet you most of you didn't know that it's also the most clicked on page on your website. It's crazy. When people go to your homepage, they will click on your about page. And I will tell you that 99% of the about pages I see on the internet are terrible. They don't cover anything that's important for the user. It's like your afterthought when you do your about page. This is where you should be spending most of your time, even before your homepage. People very rarely scroll down your homepage, but they will read everything on your about page. So on your about page, there's two kinds of about pages. One is about you, the person, the author, okay? And the author is going to be different than your company name. And then you're going to have a company about page. So it's about the company, the founder's story, the history of the company, all of those kinds of things, how the company started, things like that. But we're going to concentrate right now on the about page for you. So this is the author page, we consider it. You need to have your name, your photos, profile photo, in-action photos, authentic photos, and original photos. Lots of photos. About you in the first person, your journey, who you are in relation to the niche. You need to have certifications and links to those pages. So if you got a certificate, let's say you're a realtor and you got a certificate for selling, if you're certified or got a designation, I should say, in the CRES, the Senior Real Estate Counselor, you're going to have, there's a place on the NAR website that has the information and that logo. So after you put that logo on your website and explain what it's for, you're going to link back to that page that NAR has that explains the program. Or if that designation has their own website, then you would also link back to where you're listed on that website. So sometimes they'll have a member directory. You want to be listed to, you want to link back to that page so that the Google bot can read your name on that directory and make the connection. So you want to link to any kind of logos you're putting on your website. You want to really alt tag those really, really well. Title and alt tag them really, really well so the bots understand what exactly it is. And then you want to link to wherever that the details about that certification are. Any of your degrees, if you're a PhD or you have an MBA or a bachelor's, it doesn't matter. You want to list all of those along with the university and a link to the university. You want to the program, maybe, link to the program that you got your degree in. Industry awards, Chamber of Commerce, BNI, Toastmaster. I saved BBB for last because this is the most important one that you can get. So if you can join the Better Business Bureau, and when I say if, there's two things, qualifiers. One is you have to be the owner of the business. So if you are your own company, you can get a Better Business. You can apply for the BBB, the Better Business Bureau. But if you work for somebody, if you're like the the marketing, as CMO or something of a company, and you're setting it, and this page is about you because you're going to be the author of the blog, then you cannot get a BBD designation of your own. Your company can go get it, and then you can put it on the company page. And also it costs, it's not it's not very cheap. So the minimum I've ever seen for any of our clients when we help them get this has been like in the 600 range, and that's for no employees. They also count, you have to pay for each employee, whether they use the BBB designation or not. So depending on how large your company is how much BBB is going to charge you. But this is one that Google covets. If you can get this, get it. And then you get to put that on your website. You get your own page on the Better Business Bureau directory, and you can promote that page, ask for people to come and give you reviews on that page. And this links to there. So, and that page links to you. So this is it's an exchange link, but this means something to the Google bots because it's so important. It's such a important authoritativeness kind of thing. You want 2 to 3 testimonies using your name within the testimonial. And then you want to have a section for your news articles, your press releases, any kind of features you've been in any newspaper articles or magazines. Anytime you've been a guest podcast on somebody's podcast, a guest on them, or a guest on a webinar, you want to keep a list of all those and add these. This about page should be ongoing. You never set it and forget it. This is a page that you should have going on and keep adding information to it as you develop these relationships and as you get more notoriety and more exposure and more media. You need to be very specific that you are the author of this website, and there should be a paragraph about that you are the author, your qualifications to be the author, things like that. So that's going to cover your experience, your expertise. And again, on this page, you need to have your social media links. Now, if you have a company, and you own the company, then you're going to need to repeat and have an about page that's called the company page. And there you're going to have your founder story, your industry awards, industry newsletters, magazines. You're going to follow the same things that I already said on the About Me page, and then you're going to embed your Google map of your location on the company page. The next page is the contact page. This is another page where most websites I go to, and I do a lot of website audits. So if you ever need a website audit, I do those. So I go to the contact page and there's nothing but a form, like not even a name. So who am I contacting, right? So let me talk about this a little bit, because you want that contact page to be a lot more robust. So you want a small snippet about who you are, and then a link to your about page. So it should be in that first paragraph. You talk a little bit about yourself, your company, and then link to those pages. And then underneath that, you'll have your contact form, and underneath that, you're going to have, and I switched those two around, directions to your location in text. So you would say from I-95 heading south, take exit, stuff like that, okay? Going north from, yada, yada. And then you're going to embed your Google map of your location on that contact page, and then all of your contact methods. So you need to make it so people can reach you. I don't know why so many entrepreneurs and business owners want to hide from their own leads and customers. Like, this is not good. I let everyone have my phone number, and I say, text me, and people don't do it. They're not going to bother me. Like, they feel bad about texting me. They're not going to do it in the middle of the night and stuff. So, if you set boundaries and everything, it's fine. But please have all your contact messages and methods. So your phone number, your address, your email. I would put my WhatsApp contact, and my WhatsApp, in case they're coming from another country, they're going to use WhatsApp in Europe. So I want to have them know that I will be available. Facebook Messenger. So all of those things I'll put on the contact page. Underneath that, you're going to want to have another set of testimonials. And underneath that, you're going to want to link to your facts page. Then your social media links, a help and support section, and then link to your about pages. Again, I said in the top paragraph, it's going to be like an anchor text, but in the bottom, it's going to be just links to those pages, kind of like a mini menu down there. Oh, and then the footer. I'm sorry, I forgot. But every page, let's just assume every page has the footer on it, okay? The next page is going to be your testimonials page, and your header needs to explain that these are testimonials and what they're for, and name your keywords, your name, your niche, your company name. All of those need to be in a header, and then the paragraph immediately underneath that to really explain to Google what these testimonials are for. Again, establishing that expertise and that experience, right? You want to have video testimonials, and then underneath those, you want to have the option to have transcriptions so that people who are impaired here, eyesight impaired, I don't know the correct word for it, are able to be able then to hear the transcription in an audio or something, whatever you can do. As we move forward, one of the things that's going to be pushed more is the ADA compliance of websites. So if you have a chance to be developing a website, that's always going to cost you extra to make sites ADA compliant, but that is something you might want to talk to your web developer about, because in the future that's going to become a lawsuit area. So it's going to be a heavy liability area. So just depending on how deep your niche goes, how much traffic you're going to get, you definitely going to want to cover those bases. Then you're going to want to have written testimonials, screenshots, and things like that. And remember, whenever you're uploading that screenshot, don't have it named screenshot.png or JPEG or whatever. It needs to be titled before you upload it to your media library, before you put it on this page. It has to have all the SEO work done to it, explaining to the Google bots what it is. And those written testimonials, again, you want your keywords in there, and you want the bots to crawl that and understand it. And then again, link to your about pages. Then you have your disclaimer and disclosure pages. And I am not an attorney and I don't play one on TV. And this needs to be submitted by your legal team. I am just giving you an overview because there's so many laws that have to be covered. Make sure you cover all the laws that are required to have on your website. And California has very specific CCOP, I think it's called, and they have a couple other laws that other states don't have, and those must be included in your disclaimer and disclosures on your website, even if you don't live in California, because people in California might go to your website. EU is the same thing. They have special GDPR statements you have to have on your website, so you want to make sure those are covered as well. You need to make sure your privacy cookies, cookie notice, all that stuff, liability release. Make sure that these pages, a lot of people ignore these pages, and they'll say, a lot of webmasters will put these for no robots and no crawling of the bots. I think that's a mistake, because it is one of the ways that you prove to Google you have EAT, and it is a requirement of Google to have these pages on your site. So if you're hiding them from Google for SEO purposes, that's not really smart, because I think it's going to come back to bite you. Before and after page, or your products or services, or if you're a realtor, it's going to be your listings, sold. I like to have the sold pages. That puts a lot of weight. So, or experiences, things like that. So you want to have lots of images of before and after. So let's say you have a pool renovation website. So you can have when you first got to the job, how, what the pool looked like, and then after, when you did the renovations. Same thing with home improvements, the before and the after. If you're a stager, the before and the after. The teeth whitening, the before and the after. Surgery, plastic surgery, the before and the after. You get the drift. You need to have those kind of, the before and after states. So first of all, that helps you a lot with your conversion. But today we're not talking about conversions. We're talking about establishing EAT. You want to explain in videos, you want to explain in written content, and then you want to link to your about page and link to your contact page. And the last page we're going to go over is your blog page. And we're not going to go into a lot of detail, because I'm going to have specific videos designated just for your blog page and how you need to set it up, what you need to do. But to establish EAT, this is the overview. You need to establish authority in your niche. So you want to answer in your blog most of your blog posts should be answering questions that people ask and people also ask. All right, so they should be question and answer format, but they should be in a response post, which means at least 800 to 1100 words. Then you want to create pillar listicle posts, and those are going to link back to your longer tail posts that are inside of that pillar post. So for instance, I'm doing one I have a website that I just started. on living in Provo, Utah. And it's, we are realtor. I'm a realtor too. So that's my second business. I told you I own the virtual assistant company. That's business number one. And business number two, I'm a coach, strategist, consultant. That's number two. Number three, I'm a webmaster and designer and webmaster and web developer. And so that's number three. And number four, I'm a realtor. So now we got the fourth one there. So as a realtor, my son and I are a team. And we're with eXp Realty, and we have a website that we're starting called Living in Provo, Utah. And it's not going to be real estate related, it's community related, and it's all about the community. So one of the things I do is I make it a point to go to a different local place to eat once a week. And then I do my own story about the place, the history, the review. My VAs do all the history and review. They email the owners asking them for images that maybe if I couldn't get good ones while I was there. And sometimes I even forget to take pictures of my food because I'm so hungry and I want to eat it. So I take all these pictures of the tables and the lighting and the atmosphere, and then I forget to take the picture of the food. I've done that a few times. But anyway, so in that, I'm doing all of these restaurants. We're doing events, restaurants, places to go, things to see, how to turn on your utilities, just like an all-encompassed website that helps somebody who's just moving to Provo, Utah. So when I'm doing that, I'm going to eventually create what I call a pillar listicle post. And one of them will be like the best burger places to eat, or the top 10 best burger places, the top 12 best ice cream parlors, the top 6 best Asian food, so all Mexican restaurants, like all of that, right? So I'm going to divide it all up. And then inside of that pillar listicle post, I am going to link to those restaurants on my list that I have written a blog post about. Okay, so that goes into interlinking, which we'll teach at another time. You're going to want to use schema markup on all of your posts and pages. So in my description below, I have a link to SEO Press, which is the one, and I also will put underneath that my comparison of SEO Press to Yoast and All-in-One SEO, and why I choose SEO Press other than it was the best price. So here is the link here if you want to write that down. But you don't need to worry, because if you go into my description, it is in my description, and I am an affiliate of SEO Press, which means I get a little tiny reward of money of some kind, a few dollars. It's not much, but you know what? It adds up, and it helps me to know that you guys appreciate me. You want to rank for long tail keywords first. You need to rank for a lot of long tail keywords first. Then you're going to rank, because you're not going to rank for short tail. And then to establish topical relevance, you're going to have to write some posts that you're never, ever going to rank on Google. Okay. So let's go back to the real estate niche real quick. So if I do, long tail to rank, I can rank all day long for, I could rank for, let's see, what could I rank for? I got to tell you something. Okay. Provo riverfront homes for sale with a boat dock. Okay. Something long tail like that. I can rank for that, because Zillow is never going to try to rank for that. You got to find terms that Zillow is not going to be number one for. They might be number one because nobody else has tried, but you got to think about it. Zillow spends, thousands and thousands of dollars a day on Google AdWords. And so they're already ranking for so many keywords that are short tail. So they're going to rank for Provo real estate. I'll never beat them for that, ever. They're going to rank for Utah real estate. They're going to rank for Wellington, Florida real estate, right? So we're never going to rank for those kind of very short tail terms. So I'm never going to rank for Provo homes for sale. I'm never going to rank for Miami homes for sale. Okay. But after I'm ranking for a bunch of long tails, then I have to still write a post called, Miami, Florida homes for sale, because the Google algorithm is going to look to see if that page is on my website. They're not going to rank me for it, but they're going to look to see if it's on my website. Because if it's not on my website, they're going, well, she must not have expertise. She must not have experience, right? So that's why you have to do that. And we'll cover those in more detail in other videos. Then you have your about section on each of the posts. You must have that about section. I just put in, so on ChatGPT, there's a plugin you can get called AI PRM. And I downloaded that to my ChatGPT, and it has templates. And there was a template in there to test one of my pages, one of my blog posts, to see if I could establish EAT. And it's very critiquing. I was like cringing because it said that I had it's for my Siamese. I have a Siamese cat site. And it said she knows pretty well, she's pretty authoritative Katerina's pretty authoritative about Siamese, but she lacks some, but this, she lacks some author. I can't remember what it was, but what was missing was my author section on the bottom of the post. So it was trying to gather information from within the post about me. And there wasn't any. So you've got to put that in your post. And I would suggest that it's not put in one of those blocks. I suggest that it's actually put into the post. And then, of course, follow all of my best blogging practices, best practices for blogging. We would love to do this for you. If you want help, if you want to hire me as your strategy consultant, I would be more than happy to do that. In the description is the link to my phone number. You can text me and we can set up a time to discuss your goals and see if we're a good fit. If you want to hire the VAs from my VA company, great way to get tasks off your plate and for you to make sure that you're getting all these tasks done the way that I train people to do it. So all of our VAs are trained by me and my COO, Daisy, and they have to be certified in all of the techniques that we teach them. And I am a certified partner in Digital Marketer, so Digital Marketer certified partner. And so we do have access to all of the certifications that are required to really give you good service and know the best practices of all the different digital marketing platforms and tactics, things that we need to do to grow our business and get some free time, right? I appreciate you watching this video so far. Please like this video and then subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please set your notifications so you'll be notified of the next video. All right. So I am looking forward to continuing on. These case studies are going to be pretty cool. Right now, I'm just setting the foundation. Without the foundation, your site is going to fail. I promise you. So I'm setting the foundation and you're traveling this journey with me. So make sure that you're following along with all the videos in this series so you're not missing anything. And then when we get to something, you're like, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? You know where we are in this whole journey. Remember, we're doing 2 case studies. One is on e-commerce with a skincare line, and the other is going to be a real estate website, and a real estate niche, and we're going to go through that whole process. Anytime, any kind of other niche you have, and feel free to ask me questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you. And I really appreciate you being here, and I'm so glad I could help you.